let's talk about balancing. And so we've already balanced the bad guy heroes. So this archetype down here under the new heroes list within our tabletop creator app. And so we made some changes to Morgan, Balthazar, and Twyla. And I made some further changes that I think help them. But basically, I was thinking about it and ruminating about everything, and I think what we'll go into today is their weapons and then potentially some of their cards, but maybe not for everybody because I think that last time we really focused on Morgan, Balthazar, and Twyla, and you don't need to know anything else besides we just went into it. But we're gonna kind of go over everything again today because we need to go through weapons or armory items and how they interact with the heroes, which will then direct us on how their cards should interact with each other. So we'll see what we get through. I last time we just got through the heroes. Let's see if we can get through some weapons and maybe some cards of somebody. So let's start with Ayla. She's on the left side. So Great Oak Acorns. Remember, I'm gonna say this every time. Art is just playtesting art. It's just AI generated. It's just to put an image to an effect. Names as well and templates as well. All of this is just so far down the line. I'm really just focused on the effects, the gameplay, and the mechanics right now because that's what I'm not bad at. I'm pretty good at it sometimes. So Great Oak Acorns, discard up to 3 face-up cards from your Tenacity. If you discarded a card with cost 0, draw a card. Card with cost 1, exhaust 1 enemy enhancement. Card with cost 2, prepare your active hero. And card with 3 plus cost, all basic attacks or critical hits this turn. So this one's hard. So first off, the easy fix for this, at least right now, is to say exhaust. Because this should not be... Right now, you can technically do this as much as you want. I'm going to move this here. And then another fix that I think is required for this is a discard up to 3 face-up cards. If you discarded a card with printed cost, blah, 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 do a thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to... Yeah, this looks kind of gross. So... What is this? Why does a Great Oak Acorns exist? Well, Ayla has an ability that says cards in your Tenacity get -1 cost. So you just automatically get -1 cost while Ayla is out, which means 9 out of 10 times whilst you're playing her, you're going to have a 0, 1, or 2 cost and basically never a 3 cost. So that ability at the bottom will almost never happen. And this 3+ ability, and that's just because of her ability, right? The expectation that we're going into design right now is that every card we make for a specific character is going to be used with that character. We can't... I'm not in the mindset to balance one card versus every possibility. I think that's where the cool, fun, potentially broken stuff can happen later on. But right now we're focusing on one hero and how they interact with their kit, and then after that looks good and after we're happy with it, then we can see how this interacts elsewhere, because it's a lot. And I like this style of design I found. So for Ayla, this bottom part will literally never happen. So why I'm thinking we put a printed cost is that means Ayla's ability is still active for things like if your Tenacity total is 2 or less. But for her Great Oak Acorns, this gets around it and still plays nicely with all the other cards that you could play. And so you can do all these cool things. I can discard a card to draw, exhaust an enhancement, and prepare my hero. I would expect that there's a lot of 3 cost cards because if we take a look at her kit has one of them already. It's got everything. It's got a 0, 1, 2, and 3. And that's by design, because we want her to be able to use her Great Oak Acorns. It's kind of like she has like a bag of acorns, of magical acorns, and as she starts using them, that's kind of what this is. It's saying like, hey, what you got out of there? It's kind of a flex kind of bag, but it's in an aggressive way, which fits the angry style. So I actually think drawing a card is probably too good. This should say like your hero gets +1 attack to really fit in theme. Equipped hero gets +1 ATK this turn. So this would make it so that way really good, actually, much better. Does it? So here's a really bizarre thing, right? So I mean, I guess not. It's just not as good as it could be, I guess. So what's the best case scenario with this card? You discard 3 face-up cards from your tenacity. Yes. All of different cost. Yes. Because this doesn't care if it's the same cost multiple times. It just says if you discarded basically at least one. If you discarded a 0, do a thing. So you can't discard 3/0 cost to get +3 attack. Is that a problem? No. For each, okay, I'm thinking too hard. So what does that mean? Right now, if we discard a 0, 1, and a 2, we will be able to give Ayla +1 attack, then exhaust an enemy enhancement that might be good for their next turn to trip them up, and then prepare Ayla. So that means she's already attacked or been exhausted in some way, which means this equipped hero gets +1 attack will really only matter if we don't choose this prepare active hero. Like, she doesn't get this +1 attack on 2 different attacks, right? She can't attack, or she can't use this attack and then prepare with the acorns, and thus getting like 2 4 damage attacks. Instead, she has to attack for 3, use the acorns, get +1 attack, and then prepare her. And now you can another attack. And I think that's fine. She already has an inbuilt plus an additional attack mechanic. So it's not like she needs more. And in fact, this could potentially give her that mechanic otherwise. So I think that she's good as is. She's very straightforward. She's maybe a little too straightforward, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, she just gets a lot of attack in a kind of a weird way. This 3+ all basic attacks are critical hits this turn is a little weird. I would expect, actually, that if we could remove the word printed here and just make it the cost, and then remove this 3+ cost, basically meaning she only gets value out of 0, 1s, and 2s. And I think that's okay. I don't think that's really, like, so this is what this would look like, right? You'd remove this bottom text, and then you would get rid of the word printed here, and then you can make the text all pretty normal again. And you have, this is your ability. Discard up to 3 face-up cards from your tenacity. If you discarded a card with cost, equipped hero gets +1 attack, or exhaust 1 enemy enhancement, or prepare your active hero. And I think this brings us to a point where it's okay, because now it functions with her ability. It functions with her ability. That's it. And it doesn't force you to be like, well, I could get that. And even still, the critical hit mechanic, I'm still not sold on it. I don't know how it works. I think it should be better, but maybe there's some room elsewhere in her kit for the critical hit mechanic. But either way, right now, I think the oak acorns work as necessary right now. That's it. They're fine. They're fine. Yes. Okay, Cursed Horn for Besh. Cursed Horn says affinity +1 attack for each curse in play. So that means affinity is if the equipped hero is the same class as this card, which is blue, calm, then they get +1 attack for each curse, which ideally is 1 to 3. And then curses you play, enter play exhausted. And this is sinister. This is like a little sinister line that I just felt so just something about when I was like, ooh, that's spicy. So to balance Cursed Horn, if at all, we need to take a look at Besh, and we need to take a look at curses and how easy it is to get curses into play and how easy it is to get them out of play. So Besh, once per turn, if your tenacity total is 2 or less, bury cards until you bury a curse, add that curse to your hand. Fine, great, awesome. He can dig for a curse, that's it, and put it into his hand and then play it. Okay, curses we have here, cost 3, that's a lot. As an act, so after you flip a card in your tenacity, the owner of this card draws 1 card, and then as an action, curses are played. I gotta fix this too. Curses are played to your opponent's field under their it's played under your opponent's control, and that makes it so anytime the ability goes off, this should be something like, what is this actually? I'm gonna go to blueprints. Oh no, not blueprints. Variables, forced. Okay, so here this is a forced ability, so this would be like forced. After you flip a card in your tenacity, the owner of this card draws 1 card. I don't know if owner should be capitalized. So every time you parry, every time you have a card that says flip, Besh, the player who controls Besh, gets to draw a card. That's the idea. They can, and then somebody, that player who has this curse for them, can activate the action to discard 2 face-up cards from their tenacity to discard this card. That's pretty brutal. That's both pretty brutal, but it costs 3, so maybe that's okay. Counterspell. 2 costs. Make sure it has the curse trait here. Play this under your opponent's control. Exhaust auto. So auto was another ability that I was trying. Basically, it's the same thing. So I actually didn't do any of these. Wow. Exhaust and... Whoa, why did a million T's? Exhaust and forced. When you play a card from your hand, cancel that card's effect and discard it. Discard this card. So this stops a card from being played, but it's under your opponent's control over which card they're going to give up to do this. So if they have a 0-cost card, that's really good for them. But if they have to start getting rid of cards, then it's going to start to really impede their turn, because it not only makes them pay for it in a weird way, but it also makes them have to play in potentially a weird way where they wanted to do something first, but now they can't. So Counterspell, I think, is very good as is. Maybe it could be a different curse name, but Counterspell is basically what it is. Cowering. So let's make sure we do this here. And then your active hero gets -1 attack and -1 armor. Cool. Okay, really, really strong effect. How do we get rid of it? Exhaust. So let's do this again. Exhaust. Why are so many T's popping up? Exhaust your active hero. Discard this card. So really good against aggressive heroes because it forces them to miss an attack if they want to get rid of it. And it probably... So actually, Cowering is bizarre because giving -1 attack basically forces it so you can't make an attack on your turn for most heroes without their weapon or something. So what we're saying is that, hey, we're going to make it so you don't want to attack, and because you don't want to attack, you can also get rid of this. So maybe your active hero gets -1 armor is good enough, right? And it just says gets -1 arm. And that would then also note the cost, like, oh, okay, this is just, it's a 1 cost, whatever curse. It's got a great effect, but it's really easy to get rid of because now we're saying, hey, you can still make attacks and do things. Like if you're tricky, if you're angry, if you have any sort of small buff, you can still attack, which forces you now to make a decision. Do I want to attack and can I deal with this reduced armor, or do I have to give up my attack to get my armor back? Because I think it was too easy of a decision when you had -1 attack. So cool. This maybe should be called like something like feeble or something. Feeble. Okay, fatigued. And then the AI generated fatigue. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's just there. Okay, play this under your opponent's control. It's a 1 cost, so it's very small, very low. When you play a card, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. This is an auto ability, by the way, so this needs to have something that denotes that it's forced. There we go. When you play a card, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. So that is annoying, but doesn't stop you from winning or losing. I guess it gets you closer to recycling your deck, but it doesn't actually kill you, if that makes sense. Then it says exhaust. And I can change this. Did I not change this on the last one? I might have not have. Flip your top stim card face up, discard this card. So this is kind of bizarre. If you think about it, like I figured out in our play tests, I like the effect. It's a small, annoying effect. And the idea is that your deck is running out, you're getting fatigued, you're running out of stamina quicker. Cool, great. The problem is that flipping your top stamina card face up is basically a non-cost. It's like saying like, it's like saying nothing. It's like saying a lot of words to say nothing, because right now we haven't nailed down the critical hit mechanics and we don't know how that exactly interacts. So the idea was that you would flip your top stamina card face up, revealing to your opponent how to hit you, how to critically hit you, and then it's up to them to try and do that. So doesn't totally work, because once you run out of stamina cards, you can't get rid of this curse. And that's a cool idea in general. You can't get rid of it. So it's always good for like Besh's Cursed Horn. The problem is it doesn't do anything. By discarding cards from the top of your deck, you're losing options, but you're also recycling your deck faster, meaning you're going to get to those options again. And remember, when you recycle your deck and you take a stamina card for that, you can't lose the game that way. If that happens to change at some point, this card would be nuts. But otherwise, it at the end of the game, it just sits there and basically buffs, gives like +1 attack. So I think that this curse is close to being what it should be. But something about the cost to get rid of it is is clashing against the design of it. And I trying to think if there's another way to deal with that, because Besh is pretty straightforward. His ability gets curses, and his curse turn wants curses to enter play exhausted, thus allowing them to not be gotten rid of the turn they come out. So it should be something like what do we got here? What do we got? Maybe like consume cards. When you play a card, consume the top card of your deck. So it's just like, I think that's fine. When you take an action, when you play a card, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. And maybe we really need to look at the cost to get rid of it. Flip your top stamina card face up. Is it bad that it does nothing at the end of the game? Yeah, I think so. I think you want to care about the things you're playing rather than being like, I'm gonna do nothing. What is a small thing? Maybe like place cards. Okay, this is place cards from the top of your deck into your tenacity. Place the top 2 cards of your deck. Maybe like it's gotta be like something gross. Place the top 3 cards of your deck into your tenacity face down. What about this? This doesn't seem good so far. Exhausted, place the top 3 cards of your deck into your tenacity face down. So you have to be able to put all 3. You can't, because it says place the top 3 into it. If it's full, it doesn't actually consider the cost completed. That's like a nitty gritty rules thing. But basically, it's like if you have 4 cards in your tenacity, you can't get rid of this because you can't place cards into your tenacity like face down. And because you can only place 2, and the last one will be discarded, and that's not placed, right? It's discarded. So that's that's good, which means whoever does this has to have their tenacity like pretty low, and they'd have to like. It's really easy to get rid of your tenacity, though, right? If you place the top 3, you're gonna get rid of it like immediately because you'll probably be able to pop an ult, which will do nothing, and then you'll just keep going. From your hand into your tenacity face down. Okay, how about this? It's paying a cost. It's paying the same cost, actually, of fatigued, right? Fatigued is 1 card out of hand, and then 1 card for the fatigued card. While this says place the top 2 cards from your hand into your tenacity, so you're forcing your opponent to pay 2 cards and kind of like junk their tenacity. I think I'm fine with it. It's technically a cost. It requires you to get rid of cards from hand, which is a big deal. It's like pseudo discarding, which is what most things are now that I think about it. But I think this works. I think it works. I think it's fine. Because you can leave it in play if you want to, and it really messes up your turn, or you give up the cards. Yeah, here it is. Oh no, exhaust. Okay, last one, sluggish. This is a curse as well. And cards you play cost 1 additional resource of any class. That's a big deal. That's pretty rough. Exhaust. Spend 3 resources of any kind. Oh, spend 3 resources of the same class. Discard this card. That seems hard. That seems really hard. It seems really good. And how hard is this to get rid of besides Soul Tether? Discard 2 face-up cards from your tenacity. That seems really hard to get rid of. I don't think we played this one when I was played too late for it to matter. It's really hard to get rid of. This is hard to get rid of. Cursed Horn. I think it's okay. So, what have we found out? Some curse is hard to get rid of, some very easy. We need Besh to have at least +2 attack whenever he is, whenever he's out. So the idea is that when you get to Besh, you can play. Hopefully, one curse is in play already, and then you can play one curse while you have him out, thus giving you +2 attack, allowing him to make attacks because he'll be at that threshold of 3, so that way he can hit through armor. That's the idea. And I think that's okay. I think that works. So I think Besh is fine. I think the Cursed Horn is fine. It's elegant. It does its job. It works with the hero kit perfectly, and the curses you play exhausted. Really, really, really strong. It essentially forces one of these curses to stay in play for at least one character's turn, which is super, super good. So, yeah, kind of scary actually. Good job, Besh. Morgan, let's see, Necrostaff. So summons get +1 attack while attacking non-hero cards. This used to be slightly different, but I made some changes, and so Morgan now just has the ability, as an action, you can exhaust her to consume one card from your hand to play a summon card from your discard pile. Yes, but this should also say something like action, consume one card from your hand while your tenacity total is 2 or less. Holy Lord, that's insane. That maybe needs to be changed. But the idea is that she can play summon cards at any time from her discard pile. Then the Necrostaff says summons get +1 attack while attacking non-hero cards. So she's able to break down songs and basically enhancements and summons. So maybe. The ability of the Necrostaff is exhaust. After a non-hero card is defeated, attach the top card of your opponent's discard pile to a summon you control as stim. So after you destroy something, you get to, after a non-hero card is defeated. That means any hero card. That means your own as well. After an enemy non-hero card is defeated, attach the top card of your opponent's discard pile to a summon you control as stamina. So she wants to keep them alive, but only after a hero card is defeated. It almost seems like she wants to use... I mean, it's so hard, right? Because when you play a summon... Hello? There we go. When you play a summon, let's take the Mr. and Mrs. Beaumont. So these are very, very, very rough rules right now for summons, so this is even harder to deal with as far as like balancing. But the idea is that they have their own attack, armor, and stamina, and when you play them they get 2 stamina, and that comes from your tenacity. You can attach 2 cards to Mr. and Mrs. Beaumont as they enter play, and that's how much stamina they have. So is that good, is that bad? I don't know. Each card in each tenacity gets -1 cost. So this would mean that the longer you have this out, the longer tenacities are brutally low. That's really good. This says attach the top card of your opponent's discard pile to a summon you control as stim. Morgan wants to make sure that her summons are alive often. She wants to keep them alive. So the way she would do that would be by generating stamina for them. And I think the staff doesn't need to have a restriction on that, because I found it was really hard to keep them alive in general. So this could be something like exhaust, attach the top card of your discard pile to a summon you control as stamina. That's it. It's very simple. As an action, let's get rid of this. Let's put this back. Action. There we go. Oh! There we go. Summons get +1 attack while attacking non-hero cards. I don't even think that's necessary. That seems unnecessary. Attach the top card of your discard pile to a summon you control as stamina. Yeah? Question mark? I don't think they need more. Right? 4 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack. I don't think they need attach the top card of your discard pile to a summon you control as stamina. So this doesn't really work with like her ability. Well, this is her naturally. Her abilities are going to clean up your tenacity line, because she is going to. This doesn't really work though, right? Because if your tenacity total is 2 or less, your tenacity will be low. It might even have like 2 or less cards in it, which means when you play a summon, you're bound to not have that many stamina cards to feed it. So what if the Necrostaff just says something like, you may something like summons when you attach stamina cards, when you attach, how do I say this? You may attach the top card of your life or your discard pile to summons as stamina instead of cards from your tenacity. I hate this. Sorry. Tenacity instead of cards from your tenacity. What is this staff supposed to do? She has a great hand size, so she doesn't need to worry about that, but she needs to get more summons in play, and she wants to keep those summons in play. You may attach the top card of your discard pile to some. Okay, let's try this. I think I'm onto something. Ready for this. Okay, exhaust. After any, after, I'm going to just put it right to clarify. After any non-hero card is defeated, okay? Exhaust the Necrostaff. Attach this is the same thing. We've come full circle. How did we get back here? Hold on, my mind is breaking. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Okay, clearly Morgan needs some work somehow. More specifically, I need to figure out what these summons are supposed to do. Because... oh god, I'm dying. Okay, fine. After any non-hero card is defeated, attach the top card of your discard pile to a summon you control. We're back. That's it. Rapier. On basic attack, discard discard a 3 cost or more card from your tenacity. Equipped hero gets +1 attack for this attack. This attack becomes a critical hit. This is fine. This is good. It works as is. Everything is fine with this. Critical hits aren't completely fleshed out yet, but I think that keeping this here is totally fine. This could even be something like, defense cards can't be played. Like, this could be anything, but I think keeping it as a critical hit is fine for now. It's totally fine. Mike for Twyla. On basic attack, exhaust a song you control. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, the highest printed cost card in each tenacity gets -1 cost this turn. So this is meant to break down defenses. But I think it could do something better. The highest printed cost card in each tenacity gets -1 cost. Well, your tenacity is actually already pretty low here, so you don't totally care about this at any point, right? It's already 2 or less. So to say that you get -1 cost this turn as well doesn't really do much. Maybe it should say, like, discard a song you control. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, discard a card from an enemy tenacity. There we go. That's much more sinister. When you make a basic attack, discard a song you control. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, discard a card from an enemy tenacity. So you can break down their defenses really, really quickly. Twyla also says, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, I'm going to get rid of this defense because I was thinking about this the other day. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, play the topmost song card from free play. Free play the topmost song card from your discard pile. Let's go here, here. While your tenacity goes to action. Action. Here we go. Action. Play free play is while you have 2 or less. Free play the topmost card from your discard. Free play the topmost song card from your discard pile. Let's skip this as song here. Nope. Okay. From your discard pile. Okay. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, free play the topmost song card from your discard pile. So you can play songs for free. That makes it good because that means she can, if she has a hand size of 3, right? She doesn't get that many, but she always has access to her songs. The mic here says on basic attack, discard a song you control. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, discard a card from an enemy tenacity. So this makes it so you can use the mic, swing on it, get the song back, free play at the topmost song card of your discard pile. Exhausted. There it is. Action. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, free play the topmost song card from your discard pile. Exhausted. This is nuts. This is probably too good, honestly. Free playing songs, I mean, they're annoying, but it's not like they're like the end of the world. What's the worst you could do? Hello? Oh, weird. Okay, okay, free play mean. Cards and all tenacities get -1 cost. Annoying. Not bad. This basically just does what the mic would have done initially. So realistically, it's fine. Bad blood. Enemy attack cards cost +1 resource to play. That's annoying. That's pretty devious. Cruel summer. Enemy enhancements enter exhausted. This is specific, so it maybe doesn't even matter, right? It's super specific. That's it. Those are the 3 songs she has right now. So like that's fine, right? You don't care. I mean, you do care, but you also don't care. Like, I think that's fine. I think that's pretty good, actually. I think that's exactly what she wants to do. I'm really happy with that. That was much easier than I thought it would be. Cool. Cool. Okay, Frosk. Maze Tattoo. Exhaust. On a basic attack, discard 1 face-up card from your tenacity. Then discard 1 face-up card from an enemy tenacity. Yeah, that's really good too. That's super, super good. You know, Frosk is just perfect. Everything about him just works so well right now. That's the weapons. Okay, let's see. I'm a little unhappy with Morgan again, but I think it's not her fault or her like abilities faults, but it's actually like we haven't really got the summon cards down yet. Like this summon card is like still a question mark, and that really is stopping us from figuring out what to do with Morgan. So as we go to the summons and talk about those, which they might need a whole thing in and of themselves, then Morgan will be much more refined of what we want to do with her, because right now she's just all over. She can be anything, right? That's the problem. She can be anything right now, and it's kind of like, yeah, that sounds like it works, and that's really not great. So save. Wow. Okay, we did it, gang. Heroes relatively balanced, weapons relatively balanced, and we also prettyified some of these cards. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments, or hit a like. I do a lot of these long form videos, and if that's something you like, stick around, subscribe, because I post relatively often, at least right now, while time allows for it. And I love this game. I love these characters. I love balancing and card game development stuff. It's super fun, and it's just a time for me to just just gush about everything. So thank you so much for sticking around. And if you didn't make it, hey, you got me. Wherever you are in the world, have a great day, night, morning, weekend, weekday, work day, break, lunch, whatever it is. And I hope that I get to see you again in the next video. So until then, see ya.